All right, y'all. Welcome to the next installment of the Dismount Podcast. And today we are getting together to discuss, I would say it's a little bit of a comedic topic because
It's a break.
Yes, I needed it. I needed it.
We need a reset.
I needed to reset. I've been taking this podcast way too seriously.
Champ.
I've been trying to
We
be
need a reset,
Mr.
champ.
Yeah, we needed a reset. So
Yeah.
today we are discussing and talking about the nicknames that get you jammed up, the nicknames that make you feel loved, the nicknames that you don't have any reason why, but it just straight sting right to the core when someone hits you with it.
Yeah, let's get right to it, Tiger.
So,
Hey, bud.
all right, pal. So, topic of the day, buddy, old pal, chief boss man. Why does it bother me? Why does it bother me? So, I will start off with, I do not like when you're at work and, oh, he's got them all written down. I love it. Dog.
I'm just going to get under your skin the entire time.
I don't like boss. I don't like boss. Bosses, I can't stand when someone says boss. But here's the funny thing.
Let's start there to set the precedent. And I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Why does boss come out of anyone's mouth?
I don't know. I don't know.
Why does that ever come out of anyone's mouth?
Taking a leak, boss.
I think it's more of like a shot at that person.
That's
You know
how
what
I
I'm saying?
mean-
Like I'm like, "Yeah, okay, boss.
Yeah.
You know? But the funny thing is Anastasia and I call each other Haas. So like how far is Haas off from boss? Like literally we call each other Haas. She started that, not me. But
Haas sounds like a
Haas?
guy who couldn't get like another 8 letters of the alphabet. You know?
he just stopped. I don't
So
care.
yeah, H is good enough for me.
Yeah, I feel it. It's all right. But why does boss jam me up? Because most of the time it's coming as like, it's a sarcastic.
I think that's the precedent for all of this is like, what's the tone? Like, what do you, like, who are you? What's your role and what's my role in this conversation? Our dynamic, if it's someone you know, if it's someone you don't know.
Yeah.
My issue is that it's always someone you don't know. Like, it's never someone you know. It's always like there's like a weird dynamic of like, oh, like the elevator was coming and I wasn't going to hold the door and the guy made eye contact with me and I was like, oh, whatever. And I hold the door. He's like, thanks, boss.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's the whatever of nouns.
Right.
Whatever.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is. And it makes me feel like whatever. Like, you know, like you had to say, hey, not thank you, you know, why boss?
Yeah. Why couldn't you just one little sense of gratitude? But no, it was you hit him with some sarcasm because you're sitting there like, you didn't want to hold that door for me. You didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I did want to do that for
No,
you.
you didn't.
Maybe I'm not
No,
that
you
person.
Maybe I get
You
joy
know-
out of giving.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe that gives me a stiffy. Maybe that gives me a stiffy helping people. But then I realized it's not the helping people. It's just the being able to listen to people and just being able to keep asking questions, to them. But dude, what jams you up, bud?
Bud. I've heard pal the other day, and it was so funny. It was Friday, and I think it depends on your relationship with that person, because somebody said pal, but it did not bother me. Most contexts it would, because someone's like, it's like Slappy from the Little Rascals, like, okay, pal. Like, but that's the only time I've ever heard pal really, like that type of relationship. But mine would definitely be like, bud is a pretty big one, because most of the time people don't say bud, or like Canadian buddy. Like buddy is a big one, but I don't hear that often. I've heard bud. I've heard boss. Chief was a good one, that one on there. But I'd say bud is the top of my list right now.
Gee, the two that would sometimes jam other people up potentially are Chief and Bud, and those two don't jam me up because they stem back to my parents.
Yeah.
My mom used to call me Buddy all the time whenever I was little.
Yeah.
And then my dad, he always called me Chief. And that goes back to the #1 Chief Rocka song. If you guys know that song at all, by chance. You guys don't know Chief Rocka? All right, I'll have to show you that.
Go start singing it.
I'm the #1 Chief Rocka.
Okay,
And then, yeah, that's really bad. But yeah, I could have done a lot more. It was really freaking bad.
All right, I think I remember that one.
But it's, yeah, you know exactly what I was talking about. But that underground, like, hip hop song was really, like, I love that song because, you know, that's what my dad called me. My dad called me as Chief Rocka, you know, whenever I was younger.
Yeah.
It's also why I'm very into like hip hop and all that kind of stuff, is because that was what I was raised on. Like it's interesting. Like you guys like hip hop and all that kind of stuff with me, but he's our 70s go-to guru of the 70s and 80s jams of just that funk, you know, and you bring all like the soft rock and the hard rock too, and all of that like fancy shit that I didn't really listen to much.
What soft rock have I shown you?
I mean, does that?
When I think soft rock, I think about like 99.7. It's like I don't, dude. I can't even name like.
Okay,
like,
then I'm.
It's like
Thundercat.
Yeah,
you've
like,
shown us Thundercat.
Yeah, Thundercat is
like,
different
like
than like friggin' Doobie Brothers.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
you have your own realm of music that you're
I
exposing
think
us to.
soft rock is. I just like wish 99.7.
Wish I could have been a wise man.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Couldn't as a poor man.
Nickelback.
Is that really? Because that's a little bit of a slap in the face if I just said you like soft
It's
rock.
literally the equivalent of. It's the equivalent of calling me buddy.
Oh shit!
It's literally the equivalent, dude.
Oh fuck!
Thank you for that analogy. That fits perfect.
Want to be a soft
then,
rock
like,
star.
But yeah.
Sorry.
Like I grew up on going to the late night bowling alley with my parents in the 90s, and it was just all Aliyah and Nelly and you know the funk from the 90s of like the hip hop and the soul and that kind of stuff. And then now being like hanging out with you guys, I love everything about the music that Tit shows me or puts on. I love when you take over control whenever we're biking and you put on stuff that I haven't heard before, you know? So I love those connections that you can start making with people. And I think that's where this whole thing stems in. And what we were talking about is those relationships you have with those people. Like if someone were to come up to me and they kind of used bud in a sarcastic, derogatory way, I don't know if I would even see it that way, because it's I instantaneously stem that back to like my mom calling me buddy, and I feel that relationship connection. So like my boss right now, he literally called me Chief the first day that I started working there. He's like, dude, nice work, Chief. And I was just like, well, that's kind of weird. Like, wait, hold up. Like, I like working here. Wait. Okay, am I supposed to? Maybe I'm in the right spot. Yeah. Maybe I'm in the right spot.
Yeah.
And I have a good relationship with that guy, and I like that, you know. And I call his dad Cap, you know. And the one time I didn't call him Cap, because he's the captain of the ship, he was like, he goes, I didn't realize that was you on the phone because you didn't say what's up, Cap. And I was like, oh, my bad. And then he was like, I was throwing back. You normally call me Cap. And it's just funny how you start to like, you know, put together those 2 and 2 like connections and the synchronicities. Cause I look at him as being a true captain of the ship.
Right.
You know, the place that I work at, like it's an interesting place where there's all these different dynamics coming together, and like I haven't been in a small business like this before. So yeah, when someone calls me Chief, like in the first month of working there, you're like, maybe I'm in the right spot.
Yeah.
But there's some that, dude, what on that list that you got there? If I wasn't friends with you and I walked past you, what's the one that stings the hardest?
Out of the one, I may have never been called before, but like, all right, let's think about this for a second.
I still think Boss is the one that stings the hardest
Boss
for
is
me.
rough.
I don't like Boss.
Sport's a good one.
If you walk,
I saw that at the top.
if you walk up to me and I'm like blocking you in or something in a parking lot, or I just inconvenience you in some manner, or not at all. But actually, the situation does not matter in any manner. If you call me big guy, I'm going to kick you in the face.
Big guy.
I'm going to kick you in the face, dude.
Oh, dude, we haven't even got
Big
shit.
guy?
That opens up a whole new
Little
topic.
fella?
Yeah.
What about big man?
Big man.
Big man, I feel like is an oddball.
Big man's okay. I think big man is a lot different than big guy. Like, big guy is like what I call my 3-year-old nephew when he comes running in the room.
Ooh.
Oh, what's up, big guy? You know?
Yeah.
That's what I call my little nephew. That's not what someone at Giant Eagle should be calling me when I try to slide by you in a tight aisle. You go, that's all right, big guy.
Oh, dude.
What?
Dude.
What? Oh my
Who
God.
are you?
Oh.
Yeah, I felt that one.
I have been working out,
felt
sir,
that one.
but you know.
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, I know you've never met me before, but I wasn't looking like this 3 weeks ago.
You want to arm wrestle?
Yeah. So that's
Where's Big Rye?
a good story, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Good story.
That is such a great story.
But that's the kind of like, that's where it should be, is like, we're like, there's like a masculinity thing to it. Like there's an exchange of two like male presences, and then there's a reason to try to kind of want to like make sure you're setting like where the peaks are, like who got the higher level masculinity in this situation. And like, that's why when my brother rolls in,
power, dude.
right. Yeah. That's why my brother rolls in and he wants to arm wrestle Ryan, and he's like, he sees him as a threat. He's going to make sure from the second he gets a chance to set the score right that he's controlling the power. That's what he wants. So when I'm in Giant Eagle and some guy I've never met before brushes shoulders with me and goes, "Oh, that's all right, big guy."
wow.
You better hope that you're not walking through the parking lot when I'm driving through. I'll tell you that right now. I didn't know they had speed bumps here.
They had speed bumps. But dude, that right there is so wild, because like so many of us who are fat want to become skinny, and so many of us that are skinny actually, down goes dismount.
Sticks the landing.
So many of us that are skinny want to get a little bit fatter. Like Anastasia, she tells me, she's like, I can't stand when someone tells me go eat a cheeseburger.
Ooh.
What's the meat on them bones?
You don't think I've tried?
You don't think I eat? I'm sorry God gave me this fast metabolism.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I said that the other day at the Christmas party. We had our Christmas party on Friday.
Yeah.
And I said that to the owners are real skinny guys, right? They got fast metabolisms.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, not all of us can have the metabolism of a cheetah.
Yeah.
And he goes, God given. You know, it's like, yeah,
true.
what are you gonna, I can't deny it, you know? So it's just so wild where you start to see, like, why can't we start to see our own shit and then start to not pass that buck on to other people? And that's really what it is, man. We're releasing our traumas in a situation. And if the person who we're basically talking to or communicating with is not someone who has fortified their mind, and I'm not someone who has fully gotten there yet either. You know, I'm diligently working on it, but they're going to potentially see it in a bad way.
Yeah.
You know, so those people who are doing all that work to try to better themselves, to be able to play the gymnastics of, you know, communication in life, they're the ones who are going to help set the precedence of like growing forward, man, you know, trying to be there and compassionate for each other. And I think that's really the way that I've realized that I can make a massive difference in this world, is just by getting myself to a place where I'm mentally stable, to where when someone says something to me, it doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at that. I don't really allow people to get under my skin anymore. But there are definitely those things in life that still hit you, you know, that you're like, I want to be somewhere a little bit different. Why don't I like where I'm at? And then it's like, well, hold up, pal. Like, you're in a good spot. All right, buddy. Like, boss man, chill the frick out, you know? Like, so I don't, I don't know how to describe those emotional connections to those words.
I think there's like, I mean, it's familiarity too, right? Like it seems like it's right down, like it's when it's condescending, it comes off wrong. But also, like, I don't know how much you can judge a person on an initial interaction based off if they're being condescending or not. Like that would learn and lean into more of dynamic of maybe like if it's formal, like if it's like work or something, like people that like but it's on like a professional level. Like then that starts to lean in a little more. But I think like the familiarity of it's a big part of me too. Like I don't know if I know that that's what just who you are. Like you never like you're nicest guy in the row, but you just like roll off. Like that's how like I show like it's friendly banter. Then I know that. But it's like there has to be a level of familiarity with the person too. That's why I think like those names are best served for when you do know somebody. You know, it's a respect thing more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion. And I'm sure maybe that's just like that's why it's different dynamics, maybe it's even cultural. Like you live in a city, yada yada yada. If you go out to like the country and the person comes in like, oh hey, what's up, big guy? I might take that completely differently, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I go to like a little country store or just like I walk in, oh hey, what's up, big fella? Like I'm like, oh hey, this guy's great. You know?
Right.
Right.
Because being a big fella in that situation
Yeah.
might be what people respect.
right.
And I think that's what it all comes down to. Is
Right.
it's all coming back down to respect. It's not the being liked, you know, from what you and I chatted about. It's we're all really truly craving respect. I don't give a shit if you like me. I just want you to respect me.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't like the things that I like or the things that I do or this or that don't matter. But if I'm not emotionally or physically affecting your world, like directly, then there should be no reason why you can't respect
Yeah.
where I'm going with my life versus where you're going with yours.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, you know, opinions of like, oh, well, that person's going down that road. So that bucko, that bucko. Dude, if we can check off all those some way into this conversation, that'll be slick.
You got Slim on there?
Oh, he just added it and crossed it out.
What you doing, Slim?
What's up,
Slim.
Slim?
Slim's not bad. Slim's not bad.
Slim, but then again, like it's the context of the person who's receiving it. Like
I was gonna say,
if you told Anastasia, "What's up, Slim?" she might take it the wrong way. But a guy who's been working on himself, trying to get himself from fat to skinny,
yeah.
well, he might. Oh, wow, he's noticing my work. You know,
Yeah.
he's respecting that I've been working on myself. You have no clue.
Yeah.
You know, you just said Slim just because it came to you,
Mhm.
or maybe you did. Maybe you really used Slim because you were trying to give those positives to that person
Yeah.
or reinforcement to what they've been working so hard on.
Yeah.
But then again, it comes down to the relationships that you build with people.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know that, or you don't talk to people or ask questions, like I've gotten a lot better recently at asking questions and just sitting there and not giving a shit if I even get my point out. And Anastasia is a culprit of it because I end up coming home and I just flood her like no other, like a levee just bursting with all the shit that I didn't talk about with other fucking people because I was just asking questions. So round of applause to her. Much gratitude, much appreciation for dealing with fucking crazy Zach. But yeah, I've been doing a lot better of just like sitting there. And for instance, like I talked to this one lady at work the other day and I didn't talk about myself until the last 30 seconds. I just kept asking her. Like we sat there and we talked for 20 some minutes and I just kept asking questions, you know, I didn't talk about myself at all. And I don't know. I walked away from that conversation and I was like, yeah, I didn't get to share any of the points that I would have liked to have shared, but you walked away and she had a big ass smile on her face, man. Like
Yeah.
you gave that person like someone who respected them and was listening to them. And actually they finally really felt heard.
Yeah.
So they were able to break down those barriers and those walls to continue talking to you.
Yeah.
I think it's just so cool.
Yeah. Too many times I catch myself waiting to respond. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And the communication is 100% what we're talking about here. We just used a funny topic to really try to bring in, the way we talk to each other and the way that we communicate. And Pitt started going down a whole syntax rabbit hole at the beginning of this, which we don't even need to get into all of that craziness, but it would be pretty cool to get to a place where you understood syntax. Because if you understood syntax, then you can write in any language, like forward and backwards, and you can find all the similarities between all the languages around the world, and you can communicate in just every single way. Like, that to me sounds really dope. Like, if I could walk around and be able to talk to, or even not even talk to, but like be able to write the language of what I'm trying to communicate with someone, like, okay, I can't speak it properly to where you can hear me because I have an accent to my voice and it doesn't come across as the accent to you. But if I can write it down and you can read this, then we can communicate back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a badass place to get to. I might have to start studying a little David Wynn Miller, but yeah, we won't talk about that right now, but
I'll have to ask afterwards a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I will show you. But I want Tit to give us a quick little summary of where all of like.
Sorry.
So yes, we talked about the physical, mental, and spiritual way of how we communicate to each other right now. Basically, is kind of where we're at. But I think Tit has a little bit of science for us of where like the buddy comes from, where the pal comes from. That I want him to share a little bit with us here for a minute.
Thank you, brother. Brother, that's a big one I use.
I like brother.
That's a good check.
I don't use it around certain people because certain people don't consider me their brothers, so I'm very careful on that one, which I've learned that lesson the hard way. Don't like call people your brother who most likely don't consider you to be their brother. I consider if you're breathing, you're a guy, you're my brother. But
yeah, same.
I won't use it unless you look like me, just out of respect. But yeah, there's quite a few ones. This guy, the things he talks about, social construction, and mainly using it through language and like traditions, it's above my head. It goes across cultures, and he talks about that in a video about how he likes that he could take this to any culture and it'll still kind of work because the principles are very similar no matter where you go internationally. One person he references, I think the name is Michel Foucault. It's a French guy. Talks about how we categorize knowledge and make it true. By making it true and agreeing, we have that agreement on truth. It only takes two people to make something true. Doesn't make it objectively true. It just makes it true to us. As soon as we agree, that knowledge has power over us. And I talked about something he talked about earlier, that whenever we give those labels like ADHD, anxiety, depression, we start to give those more power by acknowledging how prevalent it is. And then all of a sudden you got all these cases of, oh, I have ADHD, I have ADHD, I have ADHD. Whenever meanwhile, most people aren't actually pulling out the DSM-5 and just deciding like, okay, here's the objective truth on what psychologists agree determines someone who has a difficulty with attention. So we give power over our words, and those words can make us victims to it in the same sense of we could brush those things off, pal. We could brush those off, Haas or boss. I like only when you guys say Haas do I find it endearing. When I hear it from a stranger, talking to a stranger, I'm like, ooh, do you know him that well? Like,
I think of whenever I hear it outside of us, I think of just like a hog molly. Yeah. You know, if anybody understands even what that reference is, they call offensive linemen hog mollies because they're big dudes. So that was always a term like, oh, we got the best hog mollies out there, man. We got the best offensive line there is. And that was, if you're an offensive lineman and someone goes, oh yeah, those are the best hog mollies right there. Like you might take it as like, yeah, we are the best hog mollies, baby. Yeah. But then some other one might be like, are they calling us fat? Are they calling us pigs? Like, is that what a hog is? Like it's, so it, once again, it's where's the relationship coming from? But
They do that in rugby too. You got fat guys and skinny guys. It doesn't mean you're fat. It means you're strong and you're tough to tackle.
Yeah.
And skinny guys, it doesn't mean that you're thin. That means you're fast and hard to catch.
Yeah.
But you have the fat guys and skinny guys. There's another thing on under this. There's another assumption. It's under literary theory, and that talks about these forms of descriptions will assert its reality. So what he talks about, Kenneth Gergen, he talks about this guy Wittgenstein. I think his name is Ludwig Wittgenstein.
Okay.
He talks about these forms. They kind of bring that to reality in the sense of we were talking about nouns. Nouns put on labels of people. But he talks about like, well, what if we had a different form of communication that would change all the rules in which we're operating under that form? So say that we use sign language, for instance. I don't know how sign language works. I mean, there's American, there's Italian, there's Spanish, but say maybe there's a whole different thing on pauses. Maybe there's a whole different thing on pauses, and whenever someone pauses, maybe there's like more of a gap before you go to say something next. Like, for instance, I don't know how that works, but our nouns are how we understand our labels and how we are defining everything. The next one I have down is on social theory under Thomas Kuhn. Talks about whatever our scientists do, and not scientists, I'm just considering us all objectively scientists.
Yeah.
They occur as part of a community, traditions, and paradigms. And I think this is kind of the heart of what we're getting at. These paradigms and traditions assume how something is and beliefs about what it is and how we observe it. So the context of like fat guy, skinny guy, as soon as you put it under the paradigm of rugby, you're talking about how strong and how fast somebody is. As soon as you take it somewhere else, if you're going over field hockey and you go fat guy, skinny guy, maybe those girls are going to hit you over the head. Like, like, oh yeah, that fat girl is like, whoa, what'd you say? I got a stick in my hand, but, but yeah, the last thing I'll say about this is there's nothing outside of these paradigms of understanding. All these paradigms are limited. You can't put one over the other as superior. You'll need a whole nother paradigm just to level out which one's which. And we talk about this world of possibilities. When you say something's real, you state whether it's not the real, but the real truth. Whenever, meanwhile, it's an entire realm of truths. It could be true. It might not be. But the last thing he mentions in his video is that, and this is Kenneth Gergen, I want to give him credit for that. He talks about therapy, actually, and that's my field, or was. He talks about therapy is a reconstruction of itself. Like you're taking the social constructions of what you believe about yourself, how you fit in the world, and you're reconstructing it to be a more healthy version of that. I think we're kind of all doing that on our own. We're kind of seeing where we fit, what we are, and what we are in relation to everyone else, which that's pretty much what social constructions get into the heart of.
So would you potentially agree with me that the easiest way to start understanding these topics would be to read the book, The Four Agreements? Because that,
sure.
I mean, an agreement is just, that's the truth between two people, right? Mm-hmm. So if you and we make agreements with ourselves, we make agreements with other people, and we make agreements overall. So when, for instance, if there was the story in that book about the young little girl who was singing, and she's just having a great day. She just keeps singing louder and louder and louder. And her mom came home, and her mom's single mother, just like working hard, and she's just beat down. And she finally says, like, would you just be quiet? No one even, you're not even any good at singing, or some shit like that. I can't remember the exact context of that, how he phrased it in the book. But that girl right then and there, the way he phrases it is she ends up going on and she doesn't sing for like the rest of her life because she feels that singing is a burden. So she made the agreement with that one statement that someone spewed that venom that we talk about. Mm-hmm. And I agreed with that. And then I set myself up for this whole like situation. And I did that with myself once back in the day that I can remember. You know, Little League football is is competitive, especially around here too. And Little League football has weight limits to it. And they finally, the 1 year, they took off the weight limits where if you could get under a certain weight, you could be a skilled player. And a skilled player was someone who could play wide out, quarterback, or running back. Basically, what they were saving was from putting the kid who's 6 foot already in 8th grade and 220 pounds from being the running back and just bulldozing everybody over. But I finally got myself down, I think this was like 6th grade, got myself down to the weight that I needed to be a skilled player. And I wanted to play running back so bad. And I finally got the opportunity to play running back. And because they had kept telling me that like I could not be that or I wasn't going to be a running back because I was a bigger dude, I finally, when I got my opportunity, I said, no, I don't want it. So I didn't feel worthy of it.
Yeah.
Because I had made a stupid ass agreement in my head that I was one of those hog mollies because I was one of the bigger dudes.
Yeah.
And that I was going to be, and I didn't particularly like offense because I was put on the offensive line and that's not where I wanted to play. But when it came down to defense, you sure as hell can watch those clips of just me on the defensive line as a defensive end, just bouncing, and the kid across from me's face is just going, the fuck is wrong with this kid? And then just watch me just pancake that little bitch and then just fucking pop the fucking quarterback from the backside and the ball goes flying and my homeboy's grabbing it and we're running down the field and scoring. And like, so I love defense because no one could stop me from beating the shit out of all those little punk asses who got to play the fucking skilled positions. And just because I like to eat and I had this freaking body and genetics, I didn't get to play one of those. Well, maybe you should be a stronger dude and learn how to tackle properly. Because even if I'm a big dude, if I know how to properly tackle, it don't matter how big you are. If you got the skills and you got the technique down and the strategy on how to do shit, there's all a science to it. Learn the fucking science, bro. Just like I learned the science. I sat there, I studied it. Like, if you want to be good at the sport or whatever you're doing, like study your shit, bro, and learn the fundamentals because the fundamentals are going to set you up for all those other cool things.
There is not a lot of dynamics in our planet where you can be told you're not able to do something in particularly, but then given the opportunity to inflict bodily harm on the people who got that opportunity. You don't get that very often. You're like, oh, wait, that's the one thing I wasn't able to do. Cool, I'm going to go play the other side where I can just light those dudes up all day and talk about how great you are at what you do, except for you can't outrun my ass, the guy who apparently wasn't quick enough to do the thing that you're doing. That's insane.
Oh, dude, there was 2 Bethel Park teams and every age group. And you have to bet that the Bethel Park versus Bethel Park game every year was the frickin' Super Bowl.
Oh, sure.
Nobody gave a shit that we were playing Mount Lebanon or anybody else. But when we played the other Bethel team, it was who's the best from Bethel from this age group. And those games were so much fun, dude. Those were the games my dad gave me a Red Bull and I was just, you know, and we did some stuff. Those were the games where the high school coaches were pissed that I didn't play high school football.
Yeah.
And it was all because of what I saw. And we do not need to talk about that on this podcast because I don't need to throw that out because some of those guys I still like to this day. And they were a part of basically a fraternity kind of thing of what football was. And I just wasn't into that kind of weird shit.
Sounds like Dazed and Confused. You got to sign this paper.
Sounds like, yeah, sort of. So
Yeah.
I really liked this topic that we talked about today. Yeah. Like this was fun.
Yeah.
This was definitely what I personally needed to reset myself for like the places going forward. Because originally we were going to talk about Orange Theory today and how you really truly show someone love and all that kind of stuff. And I would have gotten way too like scientific and deep on that one. And this was what I needed to set myself up for being able to talk about those things. Cause like when we were having these conversations before, like you guys would laugh and I'd be like sitting over here, like waiting for you guys to stop laughing so that I could keep talking. And I'm like, fuck, are you not laughing with these guys? These are your best friends. Like, why are you being so fucking serious over here?
Yeah.
Part of our traditions, cut up.
You know, like that's just what we do.
You're
like,
never gonna be able to record Brandon and I for an hour without us taking it serious, or with us taking it seriously the entire time. Is I guess what I should say.
But it's not. But that wasn't even what we started this podcast to be. You know, so that's why I was like, I was sitting over here and I was having some reflection, and I was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, yeah, but you should. Like, we should still do this for the opportunity to learn from each other and sit around with like two of our best friends and cut up and be ourselves, but also be able to talk about things that we're trying to do or learn or grow, or just experiences we have, or how those are going to help mold what we want to become.
Yeah,
it's cool. I love it, but I'll be hard pressed not to act like myself around two people I'm most comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Exactly. Yeah.
You always catch me talking about going to places like being a 30-year-old playing in places where I'm like, yeah, you're 30. You know, you're not supposed to play still. I'm like,
yeah.
Shut up. I'm allowed to play as much as I want.
Yeah, that's enough, kiddo.
Whoa.
Off the list. All right, I got a few more. Here we go. Let me roll off these few. Holmes. Anyone ever call you like homie? Maybe. Like what up, Holmes? Like that's a little.
Oh,
more
Sherlock Holmes is a fun one.
Yeah,
funny.
Well, that's what we haven't gotten. Einstein, Sherlock, like these, like, dude. There's yeah. All right, Einstein. All right. Yeah, I was smarter for you in one topic, on one instance, on one day in this God's great earth, and now I am the smartest man to ever live.
Now you're being punished for saying something intelligent.
What are you talking about? Yeah, God forbid. I knew B came before C in the alphabet, you dumbass, and now I'm Einstein.
Okay, Einstein.
It's like you used there correctly.
You blew. All right.
Yeah, Einstein, dude. Sherlock, like. Like when have you been called Sherlock before?
I don't know. Oh, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yep. I hate no shit.
My brother Anthony, he said that, and we love each other.
Anthony
but
would say I feel like I've been said that too by Anthony.
And it's like you said something real obvious, and it's like, oh yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
And
it was like
outside.
Oh, thanks. I guess I just won't talk then.
Yeah.
I love Anthony.
How about Big Shooter?
Big Shooter. Where the hell did that come from? What are you big shooting?
Loads.
Next.
I don't know about
that's
that
enough. Yeah.
There's one Slick. I like being called Slick.
Slick's a
my
good
coworker says Slick to me all the time, but he says it endearing.
I like Slick.
I like Slick.
I would be okay with
Slick,
anybody calling me Slick. Yeah. I don't know why, but maybe that makes yeah.
He said it to someone else, and I was like, "Whoa, thought I was Slick."
Yeah.
Like, I heard him say, "I'm like, I'm Slick." No, okay.
What's Letterkenny? Do they go like Big Shoots?
Oh yeah. What's up, Big Shoots?
It's the same thing. Big Shooter.
Okay.
What about Sonny?
Sonny. Oh, that can be
Sonny.
one.
Sonny boy.
Oh,
you're a big.
Is that coming from someone even remotely close to your age? That's coming from like a grandma talking to you. Oh, Sonny, how you
Sonny? Well, that's why I didn't write down.
I don't even know if that.
I didn't write down like pet names or like hun. Like you go to like a diner and the waitress calls
Sometimes
you hun the entire time.
Me.
Yeah.
If somebody's younger than me and they call me hun, I'm like, who are you? What are you, like a 70-year-old in a 20-year-old's body? Hun. You're a cashier and you barely 17. Like,
I'm at 5 below, ma'am.
I'm at Sheets. I got my rewards card. You know how many rewards points I have? I've been around the block.
This is not breakfast at the country kitchen, okay? Like this is 5 below.
I'm not hating on Sheets though. I love Sheets.
I love Sheets. What about like Ace or Jack?
I haven't heard those.
Jack. They just call you.
Well, that just goes to me like
Ace.
Ace would be like
I couldn't think of a situation I've been called Ace before.
I think the only time you would call someone Ace is if they really like aced something. Like, oh man, you nice Ace. Something you did. I don't know if you could really call someone Ace, and how would you call someone Ace in a derogatory way?
Yeah, but like that goes back to some of these other like
But that- yeah,
the wise chief, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
captain,
yeah.
lieutenant.
Once again, it's lieutenant.
Lieutenant
corporal
Dan.
officer.
What about the two most used ones, sir and ma'am?
I had those written down. Why? So you can so sir, ma'am, obviously references to like wanting to show respect to somebody, but especially like in our city, like straight blue collar people do not like it. Mr. Sir, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do not
yeah.
call me that. Mr. Nichols. Oh, that's my dad. No matter who said it to who, your dad has probably said that about his dad and his dad to his dad and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. Like people here just don't like Mr. Woodard, I have no interest. Sir, not really either, you know? But like it is funny because that is a sign of respect. Like you're like, hey, like that should trump every single name on here. But for some reason in here, or in our city, I would say that people would prefer any of those shitty names we just listed to sir or mister in a lot of instances.
I think people around here would find more respect in being called Jagoff than
Jag.
being you Jag. You know, like being a Jagoff means you're from Pittsburgh. You're a part of the frickin'
Yeah,
clan.
you're
You
damn
know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
Like we don't. No one calls each other Jagoff anywhere else or
Yeah.
Jag.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'd
like
rather be called Jag off than Jag. Because
Yeah.
Jag implies that you're actually being a Jag off. Jag off is like, okay.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Changes the whole dynamic.
Okay, so we're gonna keep rolling here. So that's cool. I completely understand the sir and ma'am one, but what about like gender roles where like God forbid a girl called anyone dude? Like what if it was like a girl like in high school you had a crush on and she's like, oh hey, what's up, dude?
Could be a friend zone right there.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
almost getting back in the day. Getting
She
called
splots
dude,
me up. I'm like, yep, friend zone.
dude. Getting called dude or getting called dude by a girl was like worse than anyone calling me any of these names back in the day.
Unless it was Zorko. Zorko's a bro.
Oh yeah, Zorko was a
buddy. Anything that a girl would use when you.
buddy. Oh,
Oh,
dude, a girl
yeah.
called you buddy. I don't care who that girl is, bro. She called you buddy.
You're in the no pants zone. You're in the no pants zone, bro.
Red flashing.
Yeah,
Boom,
you
boom,
might as
boom.
well just say screw it at that point. You know?
Yeah.
How do you come back from that? How do you buy the new term? How do you riz yourself back from that? Dude? What the fuck is riz, bro? What the fuck is riz? All these jabroni ass sons of a bitches. Jabroni. That's one that I call a lot of people
Jabroni.
because there's too many jabronis out there. And you know the word that I use constantly to describe someone who I don't like? I guess I shouldn't say don't like, but someone who I just don't have respect for at that point in time. That person's a character.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're on Disney Plus or something.
Yeah, like that person's a character. Like they got some shit going on. Like they're a character.
Yeah, the way this person's acting, he had to be thought of in a studio. There's no way this dude is out of pocket.
It's like saying your day was interesting. That's what I use.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, how was your day? Interesting. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, your day sucked.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Exactly where that went.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Other ones.
just Timmy.
Dude.
That's just Timmy. He's a character.
Now, you know, the one I left for last is the one I say the most. Man.
Brother man.
No.
Brother
It's my
man.
Undercover brother. No. So.
This ain't undercover, brother.
I remember the first time I saw it. It was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life. It's
Like,
so
I
good.
love hot sauce. I hate mayo. What are you talking about? Undercover brother?
They got it all right. I don't understand. But man, I almost think that's not like a noun. It doesn't like me, like dude and man, like almost are like they've transcended like even like referring to a single person. Like it's just an expression at this point.
I use man. Maybe I won't use man with you anymore. I use it openly.
I use it all the time. You can use it. I know it's not that I don't like it. Like I use it more than
He's saying
Any of the
I
words.
think he said that's your most used one,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, okay.
yeah. Oh hey man,
Yeah.
what's up man?
Oh, okay.
Is that like?
Man.
Oh man,
Man, oh,
that
man.
sucked, dude. Oh man, that sucked.
Man, oh,
Ah
man.
man, come on, dog.
Dude.
Dog.
Dog. Oh, we didn't get to
I
dog.
use
D-A-W-G.
dog.
How did we not get to dog?
D-A-W-G.
How did we not get to
What's
dog?
up, dog?
Dog is like the best.
I think it's the best.
Dog's the best.
Oh, I think it's the
It's
best.
the best, dude.
Yep.
You're right.
Is it
I am a
because-
dog.
Yeah.
What if they're like, hey, what up, pup?
Oh, but am I a dog in training?
Oh, yeah, you haven't learned the ways.
Yeah, you haven't learned the ways. You're on track, bro. You're on track,
yeah,
bro.
on track,
Oh,
yeah.
bro, we didn't even
We
put
did
bro.
brother. We did brother.
Oh, brother. Okay.
I don't know. You
bro-
can
But
use
is
bro.
but is bro's a little bit different than brother.
Bro's like the bro dude, man, sweet. Ashton Kutcher.
I'll
type.
use-
Dude, where's my car?
Yeah.
I'll use bro with people who don't look like me, but I will not use brother until they call me brother first.
Yeah. All right, I'll vibe with that.
Because I don't feel that that's my place until they invite me into their social construction.
So you're basically what you're saying is you're opening up the door. They can decide to close it or not.
Yeah, I'll be like,
I
and
like that.
it was my literal brother who had a bad experience calling someone brother, and that person did not receive it well. They're like, I'm not your brother. And that's taught me now that you can consider someone else your brother, but don't like say it until they say it. So if people don't look like me, then I will still consider them my brother, and I will socially recognize it once they allow me into their world.
I say brother to anybody, but
Me too.
I particularly with the guys at work who work in the warehouse, I use what up gangsta.
Oh, I like that.
What up
Like
gangsta?
50 Cent.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I don't give a shit.
yeah, I am 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bitch, please.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, damn, you spewed off a lot that I haven't even thought of. Like, dog is such a good one.
There's
Yeah.
a
Dog
good
is an all-time classic.
there's a
Dog.
good one that's always bad.
What's that?
You guys watched I know you watched How I Met Your Mother. There's a Katy Perry episode. Oh, honey.
Honey.
It's never good. And people
Oh.
think like they're like
Does that have to be oh honey?
Yes,
Yes.
the O has to be before
it's
the
that
honey.
exact tone. Oh, honey. It is always it's similar to the what's that southern word? It was like, oh, bless his heart. It's
Oh.
it's
All
like
right, we're starting to toe the line of expressions right now, but I understand
Yeah,
exactly
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
because
honey.
it does still play a role. Like it's taking one of those names, but you're adding it.
put yourself above that person.
Yeah.
Immediately. Always. There's not a debate on it.
Yeah.
It's just you put that person down.
Yeah, you literally just tried to step on their throat, basically.
Yep.
Yep, you're taking the power. Holy cow, man.
Yeah, there's a power exchange to a lot of these that I'm not just. That's why I'm not a fan of it. Like I'm so anti-authority is such a bad way to describe a 31-year-old man. But like,
But no, you're just why can't
like
I
there,
cover-
I always want a level playing. Like I look at everyone the same. I don't care who they are. Like there's the respect I offer you is the same respect I offer anyone else, no matter how long I've known you, what role you play. So like, that's why it jams me up.
I think it's frustrating because I know I can govern myself.
Right.
I know what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
I know I shouldn't do these things.
Right.
And if I did something to someone, I'm going to face up and apologize for it and say, I fucked up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you can either accept me for it or not. And most of the time, those people coming to you and admitting that they did something to you and not finding it out from somebody else, that's what changes that whole ballgame, I think, is when you did something and you hear it from somebody else, or someone did something to you and you hear it from somebody else, that's harsh.
Yeah.
Not hearing it from the person, oh man, yeah, that definitely messes things up because
Yeah.
it's not that person. Like
Yeah.
you don't feel like when I come to you and I share my shit of, hey Derek, I shouldn't have did that. I apologize for doing that. I'm putting myself in a vulnerable sense of saying like I'm being vulnerable with you. You know, that's what love is.
Yeah.
Love is surrendering yourself completely to another person or
Right.
another thing.
So why in vulnerable positions like that do people still feel the need to be like, no matter if I've known you for 12 years or whatever it's been, you're vulnerable to me. I understand that based on the dynamic that you may have screwed up and you come back to me. And then some people still have the mental lapse to go, that's all right, pal.
Ooh.
Because they know they're in the
invalidated.
power position at that
Yep.
point. So they don't just let it go and be like, hey, this person's coming to me, meeting me on an equal playing field. They're actually dropping themselves lower to show that they do care about our relationship. They care about what's happening. But then that person recognizes they're in the power position and just can't help but let it go. You know, oh, buddy, that's all right.
And who do you get those responses from? In my eyes, you get those responses from the people who can't completely take care of themselves. And that's where we're at in life. we're in a position where all these people rely on the system to be able to continue feeding themselves, to be able to continue moving forward. And so we've put ourselves into this place where we're in a shit situation, dude.
Yeah.
It's hard to not want to grab some power when you feel powerless all the time, because you
Well,
get
that's-
that one instance, that one chance.
Well, that's why it probably comes off the way it does. A lot of people are like looking to change the dynamic of what they deal with on a regular basis, or like, make sure like, hey, this is the impression I want to leave on a daily. When it comes to me and you, this is who I am.
If you got, and this isn't like where you have to go at, but like if you had your own little homestead and it's called the sufficient backyard, the self-sufficient backyard, and you can literally build a homestead on smaller than half an acre and just completely self-sufficient. I think they've even gotten it scaled down to a quarter of an acre.
Wow.
So like you can completely become self-sufficient on a quarter acre of land. And so if I get my own water, like I have my own gray water tanks out back, I have my own little garden out back that I tend to, who the hell do I need for anything? Like, and I have my own solar panels. I get to a place where I build a Nikola Tesla coil, which if I build a Nikola Tesla coil, everybody around me in the neighborhood gets free energy anyways. So that would be pretty dope. But, I can be completely self-sufficient on a quarter of an acre or half an acre of land. And then no one has power over me, because if I'm hungry at 11 o'clock at night, I can walk out and I can go grab 2 zucchinis, come in, chop them up, throw them in a little pan, fry them up, throw a little onion in there, maybe a little something else from the garden, and make myself a little medley that will suffice me to get through to tomorrow. Yeah. But if I'm stuck there at 11 o'clock and every single grocery store is now closed and the only thing that's left open are all the bars with the shitty fucking food, that's not going to give good nutrients to me. I'm going to run down to what's it called and grab some cheese sticks and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what are they served? What is the late night? I don't want to shoot the shot at E&P, so we're going to call it E&P because you got to know. But the late night menu at E&P, it's all just quick appetizer, fried, quick food that is probably not giving you that nutrients that you want. So why would you feel powerless in this world? Because you're you're dependent on all these other people to give you the things that you ultimately need. Mm-hmm. So the guy who has that all set up is the guy who you look at him and you apologize and he goes, I understand.
Yeah.
Or I see you. Thank you. I appreciate you apologizing. Yeah. Not okay, pal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
It's all right, buddy.
Yeah.
That shit stings.
Yeah, it does.
But what a hell of a conversation today. Mm-hmm. We hit so many different topics in this conversation.
We covered them all.
We got them all, dude.
Crack off stuff every single one. We've added some along the way. Look at us.
There's one thing I want to mention too before
Please.
we tune out. We've talked about transactional analysis too before.
Yeah.
And it's interesting if you consider this like two parties. I'll make sure I'm visible. Flip it around this way. So we have transactional analysis. I'm just going to use you and you as an example.
Perfect.
Doesn't matter what context. We're just going to say that one of you is in that power position of the bud, because what we should be doing is speaking adult to adult and then meeting in the middle, treating each other as two independent, responsible parties. But then I'll just pick you, Derek, on this side since social construction. Maybe you start talking to him as parent to child. And he's still an adult, but you're trying to push him down, bud, and push him down to the child position because it makes you feel better to be up here at parent. Well, meanwhile, at 30 and 31, both of you are 31 now. So what you should be able to do is talk equally from adult to adult and then reach that common ground and understand. But then, like you said, some people, they feel like they're lower. So in order to feel higher, they start using other social constructs like bud, pal, chief, slim Jim, all those different terms to try to elevate themselves because they're operating of that stance of like less than, and they want to push themselves up and elevate themselves. And it is interesting you point out people who are already like feeling like they're well established in life don't feel the need to push other people down.
Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean that really kind of stems into a little bit too of the English language that we use. And I mean, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but I've talked about it before why I use AM now. I say, "Oh, in the AM." I don't use morning. And people would be like, "All right, dude, you're reaching a little bit there. Like we've used morning for so long. Like I understand you mourn at awake, but we've used morning for so freaking long. Just say good morning to someone." But I don't want to say good morning because I'm not mourning in the morning. Like I'm happy, I'm here. Like it's not the same. And then understand is another one that we don't realize. If I tell you, "Oh, I understand," I'm basically telling you that I stand under you. So right then and there, I'm giving you the power by telling someone, "Oh, I understand."
Yeah.
You just gave them power. You just told them that you stand under them. But if you say, "Oh, I see you," then no, we're at the same level, or I hear you. Those can potentially be looked at a little bit differently than the words that have been put into our English that have basically stem into a whole another crazy place with the courts and all that kind of stuff and black laws and all that different interesting stuff of like being a lawyer and those kind of communications, like going to court and whatnot. Regardless, kick-ass conversation. I rebranded myself with getting back to Zach because I've been taking this way too serious because I want to do this stuff full time really bad. I still like going to work and I like being there for the people, but my job, the work that I do, doesn't give me fulfillment anymore. And sometimes it kind of really stems hard onto me, like things that I do. Like for instance, I'm the reason why there's a brand new furnace that is commissioned and has been making ballistics armor for the government in Pennsylvania. And I would venture to guess why is that production ramped up and what's going on in the Middle East and what we're probably shipping potentially from that facility. I don't know for 100%, but like when you're someone who just wants to be there for people or understand people, when you potentially just commissioned a furnace that could be building stuff of mass destruction, that's hard. That's hard to continue walking through life. Yeah. So that's why I want to get to a place with this. And I don't need to share my dreams of what we're going to do with this, because once you share your dreams with people, they just shit on them because they're not working on their stuff. So they don't want you to achieve your dreams, because achieving your dreams would mean that you would change. And you might not be the same person that they love, or you might not be the same person that they can handle right now because you just became extremely motivated and disciplined and you got all this consistency in your life, and that person potentially just wants to take it a little bit easier, or is like, why are we working so hard towards this? Like there will always be a time to work hard. We should enjoy ourselves. Yeah. Let's play a little bit. And so that's the happy balance that I'm trying to build. But this episode was fantastic. I appreciate you, Derry, for talking. Appreciate you, Titty, Brandon. Thanks, guys, for riding along with us. As always, we tell you, don't trust us, trust yourself. And I'll let these guys share anything that they want to on the way out here.
Just wanted to say thank you for joining us, guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Later.
Don't hesitate to catch episode 21, Intentions, Living Your Truth, releasing next. Catch the video version of this podcast on YouTube. Catch the audio edition anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Take care. We'll see you out there.